Welcome to Freedom Forest, guys, the 3-acre edible oasis that we're creating here in the south of England, where we like to try lots of new things and push the boundaries with what we can grow using permaculture and no-dig methods. Absolutely no chemicals, weed killers or synthetic fertilisers, just what nature provides. Hi folks, and thanks for joining us on this wintry December day for our much anticipated OCA harvest. And you might also know OCA as New Zealand Yam. And I always get a little bit nervous at this stage of harvest when it comes to our underground crops, as I'm always anxious to find out if we've actually got a good harvest or if it has been eaten by things like rats and mice and voles. There has definitely been signs of things digging around here, and just now I noticed this beautiful OCA is sat right on the top of the bed, and it has got a little nibble in it, but that might be a good sign that it hasn't been eaten entirely, because I'm pretty sure I have heard in the past that OCA is a crop that rats and mice aren't particularly fond of. So hopefully we're going to have a really good harvest today. And not only does this slightly unusual crop give us an amazing tuber to harvest in the middle of winter, but it also creates a beautiful and dense living ground cover throughout the whole of the summer. And I am feeling slightly optimistic at this point, as OCA actually grows really close to the surface, and I'm seeing lots of beautiful bright colours just below where the plants are dying back already. So fingers crossed for a really good harvest today.
So OCA was actually first introduced to Europe and New Zealand in the 1800s, and it went on to be much more popular in New Zealand than it was, say, in a country like we are here in England. It's actually a cultural plant, an indigenous plant of the Andes, where it's been cultivated for centuries as a staple crop. Although we might think of places like Peru and South America as being very hot countries, one of the reasons why the OCA grows fairly well here is because it was actually cultivated by the people living in more of the highland areas, so in altitude ranges of 2,000 plus metres, where their temperatures are much cooler, similar to ours. And I read before that the temperature range where this was primarily cultivated would be from between about 4 and 17 degrees. So actually, we actually get warmer temperatures in our summer here, although maybe they wouldn't get so much frost. And the tubers of OCA actually form right at the end of the season. So you need a fairly long season, just as when our frosts are coming or when they're starting to form. So they do pretty well for us here in the south of the UK in zone 9A. When we get our first frost, the foliage dies back like you see now, and the tubers are actually very close to the surface as well.
One of the things I'm actually really surprised at with this year's harvest is how many pink tubers we've got compared to how many orange ones that we've got. So we've got 3 different varieties of oca here overall, orange, a yellow and a pink. And last year I noticed that the orange tubers were the ones that were giving us the best size crop. So I actually went through this bed and mostly replanted these orange tubers. Now sadly I'm not sure what the variety is. It was one that we bought on eBay from Poland quite a few years ago, and we've lost all the information on it now. So if any of you out there are good at recognising and identifying oca tubers, please do let us know what you think this variety is. However, I'm surprised that we don't have more of these orange tubers considering how many I planted back. But I've got a possible theory about this that I'm hoping I might be able to prove later on. So stick with us to the end of the video to find out more about this. Okay, so this is our oca harvest from our outdoor bed, and I'm pretty pleased with the amount of oca that we've got today from here. But overall, if you were limited on space, I certainly wouldn't be recommending giving over this much space in your garden to growing this crop for the size yield that you will get from it. However, why this crop is such a benefit to us is because it's actually a bonus crop for this space. The main crop that we grow here in this bed is our beans for drying. So this gives us an extra harvest, and like I was saying earlier, the oca also creates a really great living edible ground cover which helps to suppress weeds, which we have a lot of in this area. So it's actually a crop that gives us multiple benefits growing it in this space. We accidentally pulled up a few mashua earlier as well, so we've popped those into our harvest basket to enjoy in the next few days. But hopefully we'll do a mashua harvest video for you really soon too, so stay tuned for that one. So back in the spring I planted these 4 pots up with some of the biggest of the orange variety of oca that we had left still, and we also put this chicken wire over the top to hopefully stop rats or mice being able to get in too easily. So I'm really looking forward to seeing if there is any difference in size and yield through growing oca in the pots compared to the outdoor beds. Now the only thing I'm slightly concerned about is whether I watered these enough through the heat of the summer, because growing in pots isn't something we do a lot of here, and so I find it's really easy for me to forget how regularly I need to water them. I say this as well because the plants actually died back a lot sooner than our outdoor plants did, so they were really thriving over in our outdoor bed, and these plants kind of just went all soft and droopy. So let's get harvested and have a look. Okay, so there looks to be quite a lot of tubers in here, but so far what I'm finding is quite small. I wonder if it might be easier to get something to harvest them into so I can knock all this soil off and not lose any in the process. You coming in to try some oca, Murph? No, you don't want to eat that, buddy.
He wants to help.
You don't want to eat that, buddy. Okay, so far the results look to be that there is quite a good number of tubers in here, but they're all really, really small. Much smaller than the orange ones that we got out of our beds, and certainly much smaller than the seed plants that I put in here. And I'm pretty sure I put 3 tubers in per pot. And what I'm wondering is if it was because the plants died back because they got a little bit too dry, and that maybe is why they died back early, and perhaps why the tubers haven't formed up as big as they could have done. So I'm definitely up for continuing this trial and giving it another go, growing oca in pots and maybe trying to water them on a bit more of a regular basis. But so far what I can see is it's actually easier and less effort and better yield growing them in our outdoor beds and just leaving them to fend for themselves, despite the losses through potential damage from rats and mice. So it really depends on your garden setup. If you're someone who is limited on ground space and grows in pots often, then oca is definitely something that you can grow in pots, and with a bit more care it would potentially grow a lot better than I have done with these. But otherwise I think probably growing it in the ground looks to be the best option, but I will check again next year, so stay tuned to see what we find out in the future on this. So it was a little bit disappointing, the size of our tubers which just came out of the pots, but overall we have still got a really nice harvest of oca, and we're going to get to enjoy some really nice meals over the winter. We tend to just roast the oca off with a little bit of oil and salt and pepper in with our roast potatoes, and that is our favourite way we've found to use it so far. But I'm still learning about working with this crop. So if any of you guys have got any recipes or your favourite way to use oca that you could share, I would massively appreciate that. So drop us a comment down below. So a large amount of the oca that we had in this bed grew from volunteer tubers that got left in the ground. Probably just a lot of these tiny weeny ones that you can still see all dotted over the soil here. And my theory for why we have got less orange tubers than I would expect is this. I'm wondering if the pink tubers are higher in oxalic acid than the orange tubers, and so perhaps the orange ones are more attractive to the rats and mice to eat, and I'm wondering if they are eating more of our crop of that variety. And perhaps they may have even been eating them straight from planting back this time last year, because we normally treat oca as a replant perennial, meaning that right now we'd go and select our biggest and best tubers and push them straight into all the planting positions between these the bars of our bean poles. But what I'm thinking is actually this year I might try something different. We'll leave all the small tubers in the ground here that have been left behind, and they're going to help to create some of the beautiful ground cover that we get. And we save all the plant matter and we just mulch. Normally when I replant, I mulch the plants with what's left here. So I'm thinking we're going to spread all of this nice plant matter out to break down and feed the soil. But I might try planting about 50 of these oca tubers in pots in early spring in the polytunnel, and seeing if we can get them going a little bit sooner, and then plant them out when they're looking strong, to see if one, that gives us bigger tubers, and two, if we may get more of the yield of the variety that we're expecting. So lots still to learn about growing oca. We are just at the beginning of our journey with this crop. If any of you guys have any tips of how we can grow much bigger tubers, we would massively appreciate hearing those from you. So drop them in the comments below. We hope you've enjoyed this video today, and thank you so much for watching right through to the end. Make sure you click the thumbs up button if you have enjoyed this video, and we look forward to seeing you here again soon. Peace and plants.